Hi, hello there. I'm Jenn Rice, and I wanted to talk today about rewards. And this topic came up. I was talking with a business partner of mine, and we were sorting out incentives and incentivizing or rewarding or all these things you kind of do often in small businesses and in large corporations. And when we were discussing the idea of, what do people, like the potential of people, what do most people want? Well, it's hard to answer because I know for me personally, I am heavily an incentive-based, even healthcare provider. So I have operated as a healthcare provider who works on an incentive-based schedule. So, unlike maybe others that may be more comfortable with a salary position or a combination thereof, that has just always worked for me. But in doing some research, I've found that not everyone is, going to really respond the same way to whatever reward may or may not be. So some people can actually feel that rewards are distractions, that you can actually limit someone's overall capability of doing work by offering too many rewards or too many distractors or incentives. There's this book that I definitely want to read that I've been looking into. It's called Drive by Daniel Pink. And I don't know if any of you guys have seen it, but he, I guess, talks a lot about the science and what works and what doesn't work with incentivizing and how the mind works. So there's really a lot of science behind, what people will want to work for, what organizations use. Basically, oftentimes what we find is what sometimes large corporations or organizations use to incentivize employees or, partners can be, very different from what really can be helpful. And, kind of what works mentally may not be what the organization puts out for, people to work towards. So there can be this huge disconnect. And he talks all about this in the book, and how to get that. I'm assuming there'll be some kind of connection to it where it would be helpful for people to know, especially if you run a large corporation or even if you have a very small business, figuring out the science behind and the mindset when people are looking for maybe rewarding for certain, actions or goals or hitting targets, that kind of thing. So I wanted to share about this. I was reading this article about they were rewarding people for health things. So, okay, there's like, people are going in to lose weight, ideally, and they were offered $550 to lose 5% body weight over a certain amount of time. And so what they were doing is saying like they would either get money back on their insurance policy, but what it broke down to was like $20 a month was going to be deposited into the person's like health account. And what they found was that it wasn't super motivating to some people because one, it wasn't a large chunk of money, and they weren't necessarily seeing like the competition of others around them. And they did the same thing similar with smoking, where they were going to give $700 to $800 back on health insurance for, cessation of smoking. And basically what they were saying was that some people are going to do the work because of the competition part of it. And other people are going to want to be focused on the financial, like very focused on the financial outcome. And then there's going to be people in between, right, that are going to maybe be motivated by both. So I just thought that was so interesting that really, as you come up with these things, I know for me as a small business owner now, when I think about rewards or incentives or, you want to show people appreciation, how do you do that? And can you do it on a completely universal level? And really the answer is no, that each individual has different things that are important to them and that they will work towards. So it's not a one size fits all, and it may be really key to ask more questions. Obviously, I guess if you're watching this and you are already a general manager or own a large company, you could probably share with us more on this as far as what does work. But they're saying psychologically one size does not fit all, that people are motivated by very different factors. And it's important to ask each individual. For example, if you're running this weight loss thing or smoking, you want to say, would you prefer a lump sum of $700-800 in a year, or do you want the, whatever it is a month for, because it's going to, or is it the competition seeing, oh, you've quit smoking longer than, Joe Smith, or, whatever it might be. So I think this is so interesting because I've struggled over the last week kind of trying to decide as I move my business forward, how do I really show this appreciation? How do I help people to push themselves the way that they want to? And really, what the short answer is, there is no answer. There is no really simple do this and this happens. It's very individual, and we have to remember that each person is moved by different things, and there is science behind this. So the first thing I think I'll do is get the book Drive by Daniel Pink, and I'm going to see if there's some things in there that could be really helpful. And I also think asking each individual what they would prefer is probably the key to it, and that's just having more conversations, right? So if you guys have any comments on this, if you've done some incentive-based things or even work, like I was sharing earlier how in healthcare I have done both. I have salary, I have done production-based, I've done a combination thereof, and different things do motivate me than maybe a colleague. So if you have any tips for us, I'd love to hear from you. And definitely, I think that when we're talking about potential for people, it's just a good topic to talk about rewards and influence, and making sure we're not providing distractions, that we're actually providing things that are good and things that they want, right? So I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like this video, please share some comments below, and if you like this content, please go over to Jenn Rice International. I have a new website that is up and running, and you can go on there and check it out. I would love for you to do that, and I hope that you guys have a great day. I know for me, it's the first day back after a long weekend, so I am just getting caught up here. So you guys take care. Have a good one.